All right, everybody, welcome back to the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast, where we explore the exciting world of artificial intelligence and its impact on marketing. Every week, we're going to feature in-depth conversations with industry leaders, technology experts, and marketing professionals. Our guests share their insights and experiences on how AI is transforming marketing and providing businesses with a competitive edge, keeping you up to date on the latest trends and best practices in AI-powered marketing. Now, whether you're new to the world of AI or an experienced professional, the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast is the perfect place to learn about the latest advancements and how they can be applied to your business. Join us each week and let's explore the intersection of AI and marketing together. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast. I'm your co-host, Matthew Maniak, here with your host, Tony Aponte. How's it going, Tony?
How we doing, Matthew? Everything doing all right over there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As one of my close friends and colleagues always says, blessed and highly favored.
That's right.
How about you? How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Just staying busy and keeping it rolling.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Speaking of rolling, we're here rolling episode 2. I want to take a minute to thank all of our viewers that tuned in for episode 1 last week. And now we're going to be really kind of delving into a little bit deeper concepts on how AI can help small businesses. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people that think that AI might be, say, beyond them, or that it's like this radically elevated advanced technology, which I guess in some cases it kind of is, but there's this sense of disconnect on the use, I think. And hopefully in today's episode, coming out of today's episode, those of you that are tuning in will have a better idea of some ways that AI systems can help you in your business, in your marketing, and in other areas of say entrepreneurship and life. Um, so I mean, for you, Tony, kind of tell me a little bit about like what are some ways, just generally speaking, that you're currently using AI in your business. I mean, I know on my side, I do a lot of stuff with like Midjourney to kind of for like graphics and content creation and things like that. But obviously, more on the marketing side. Tell me a little bit about how you're using AI for what you do.
Yeah, so been actually using it for quite a bit. Uh, with content, you want to try to get your content where it stands out to your market, so that way it speaks to them. And one of the biggest areas that I've been able to use it for is not only for blogging, writing articles, but also uh, putting together customer avatars, and putting together the target audience for customers to be able to really narrow down and personalize the messaging that comes across. And AI has really, really helped out a lot with that, because the one thing that I think and this is actually a part that it took me a while to kind of figure out in the beginning, was that AI is actually, it's got access to millions of data points, right? It's got access to data that we personally, if we wanted to get access to that, it would take us so much time in research. And then by the time it takes us to do the research, now we got to take that research and create the messaging for our audience. Whereas with AI, it's already got all that. And all you do basically is just train AI to who it is that you're trying to go after. And it just helps you create the content specific to that target audience, which has been awesome.
No, definitely. And I mean, to your point, right, is it's like if we're doing that kind of that same research, that same analysis manually, it's going to be, I mean, depending on the size of your data pool, right? It's like that could take you anywhere from, I mean, if you know exactly what you're looking for and are really, really good at it, maybe like, you know, a week or two, especially if you're like really kind of honing in on it. And then, I mean, for larger enterprises, you're talking months to years of time and human resources. And now it's you plug a data set into ChatGPT or one of the other tools out there, and it does that analysis for you in a blink of an eye. So
Yep.
I mean, kind of talking and jumping off of that point. Um, I mean, obviously, there's a lot that you can do with AI between like marketing, productivity, finance, and even like different elements of brainstorming and things like that for products and services. Um, like, I know we mentioned kind of the time savings, but can you think of any other reasons why small businesses should consider using AI and leveraging it in their systems, like as part of business development?
Yeah, the one thing that I've been able to kind of really see with AI outside of just marketing, even though that's kind of like the bulk of what I do, but just kind of seeing how some others are using it, some of the other people that are kind of like really popping up that are really, taking charge in their industries with AI, is the biggest one that I think most business owners outside of marketing that I think they're going to really benefit from is their productivity. As entrepreneurs, we wear 30, 100 hats, right? And I'm sure you've come across people, small business owners. They all everyone has the same common saying: "If only I had someone else like me. If only I had someone else like me." Right? And
Yep.
that's just attesting to if I had someone else that I could train or whatever that's exactly like me, that basically produces the same level that I do, I would be able to do so much more.
Oh yeah, and like one thing that I've even used it for is training, especially in the sales sort of situations. Like, I mean, with ChatGPT, I'm sure you've seen and some of the ways that you can have it act as a certain, say, occupation or person or whatever. But I was basically taking a sales team from scratch, like having not really done sales before, and trying to teach them how to handle rebuttals and work through kind of those common interactions that you get in a sales situation. And I kind of gave them a prompt with ChatGPT and was like, "Hey, like have ChatGPT act as a cold outreach email, so on and so forth." And it was like the client is this looking for this. Um, don't make it easy on them, and then had them do that. And I had one of the guys come back and it was like come to one of the say like scary quote unquote technology points of he's like, I felt like I was having a conversation with an actual person. And it was
Yeah.
but I asked him, I was like, did you learn something? Did you find the exercise valuable? And he's like, yeah, no, I feel like I can go out and close. And then I trained him up on it a little more, kind of tested him out a little bit, and we kind of refined what the chat GPT prompt was and things like that to make the sales training more robust. And so now like I use that within my own teams and things like that beyond just, say writing content or asking it basic questions, but really kind of leveraging it on a training standpoint and from a productivity standpoint, just like you said, like it's the capabilities are crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that because in productivity, that now you're encompassing everything, right? Everything business.
Yeah.
It's always about, we're as entrepreneurs, we're always kind of chasing our tails just because we're trying to get everything done ourselves and everything. And I think that is one area that it's going to help tremendously is once people understand how to use it and how to really create systems using AI to increase their efficiency. And then they get to then I think it's going to help them to realize that, hey, I don't have to actually work in my business anymore. I can actually work on it, and I can focus more on the creatives and what do I need to do about growing my business because I already have a system set up, including AI, to be able to take care of those things. I think that's going to be a major plus for small business owners. So it's the key thing is being able to create systems and systems in everything. Like I said, marketing. That's kind of like the area that I really focus on mostly. Um, Being able to spend some time um, focusing on your marketing USP. Your unique selling proposition. Being able to really delve into who your target audience is, being able to understand what their pain points are. What is it that triggers them to buy? What are the things that, that they usually are, they're thinking before they even tell you. And again, this is where AI has access to so much data because of research that has been done for years. They have access to all that information. Now we can tap into that. And so we'll be able to create social media content, articles, website copy, video content, stuff that is just going to really, whenever your audience is looking at whatever it is, if it's the written word, video, whatever, it's going to resonate with them a lot better, because now you're going to be able to focus on that. Whereas before, you didn't have the time, you didn't have the time to sit down and actually put that together and figure out who it is. And that's why, whenever you don't figure out who your target audience is, now you're just throwing stuff at the walls, seeing what
Right.
sticks, and that's the frustrating part, right? Is that, you technically spend all this time throwing stuff at the walls, nothing sticks. And then you're just like exasperated because it's like, oh, nothing's working, you know?
Yeah, and like even with some of the tools that are out there now, right? You can have, I mean, I keep going back to ChatGPT just because that's like where a lot of my experience is, and for what I need it, or for what I need AI tools for, and use them for now. Like that just is kind of like my biggest one. But to that same point, right? Is it's like you can have these tools critique themselves. So it's like you can have, say, ChatGPT or whatever generate you email subject lines, and then you can have it go back and be like, hey, act as a harsh critic, tell me why these are not going to work, and then it'll go back and it'll tell you why they're not going to work, and then
Right.
you can take that and have it rewrite it based on that feedback and be like, okay, like now take that feedback, apply it, and then it'll do it. And so
Right.
just like you said, right, it's like instead of working in the business, it opens business owners, especially from a marketing standpoint, up to be able to, just like you said, work on the business instead of in it, and really kind of focus on improving those processes, those cycles. Like you can ask, like if you have your process written out, your system written out, you could potentially put it in ChatGPT. You can say analyze this for roadblocks, for bottlenecks, and all that stuff, and then it can identify what like all that, and then save you the time of having to manually identify those points and come up with a solution for them. But I mean, kind of moving on into that side of things, like I know with what you do is in like the email marketing and things like that. Like, how do you think this is going to impact that? Like, are you thinking it's going to move us in a direction where everyone's kind of got the same sort of email sort of campaigns and same copy, or
Right.
like tell me a little bit about where you think that's going?
Well, yeah, if you just tell it just this plain generic command, it's going to spit out the same exact thing all the time. And so there's a there's two phases of this, right? And the one thing that I want to for people to understand is that at the end of the day, we're communicating with something that has the ability to give us feedback, right? And so, just something, just to kind of let you know how I do it, too, because whenever I first started, it felt so weird talking to it AI, talking. So I decided to just, what, I want to make, because after I've started kind of realizing that it's how you communicate with it that it's going to determine the kind of content that you get back. Is that now I before I even start anything, I'll let ChatGPT, okay, act as this, and your name is this. I will be referring to you by this name, and my name is Tony. And after that, it's like I talk to it, hey, Sam, please tell me what to do here. And it's funny because subconsciously that actually works, right? Instead, now I don't think I'm actually talking to a computer or AI. I'm actually like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to create a conversation that is got flow, where I know that I'm going to get that, because whenever you do that, you're going to actually type as if you're talking to someone, or if you're sending
Right.
something, like you're sending an email to a friend, you're a lot more verbal about what you want. And that's what AI needs, right? Because
Yep.
whenever you do that, it gives you stuff, it gives you the output that it gives you is specific to what you're asking and specific to the tone that you're asking.
Yep.
And that, and that's the point that I really want to make sure that everybody understands is you understand that one piece of the puzzle, and your content is going to come out to be unique. Now, mind you, we just can't take, let's just use articles, blog posts online. You just can't take what ChatGPT or Jasper or whatever tools you use, and you just can't take it at face value and just post it on your website. You've got to go through and do a little bit of editing, make sure that it resonates, with your voice, your messaging, it's got more of the human factor to it. So because, people are going to notice it whenever they read it, they're going to say, okay, this sounds a little bit robotish or whatever. It's you're so and that's in any type of content creation anyways, right? You've got content out there that's like PLR content, you got writers that create content for you, but at the end of the day, you need to kind of edit it to match your voice.
No, definitely, and I guess that can be a little saving grace for our copywriters out there, right? It's like, hey, your job's not going away; it's
Oh,
just
for sure. Yeah.
changing.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah. I think the fear is legitimate, right? It's like, oh my God, we got this tool that can basically create the copy for landing pages, email copy, subject lines. At the end of the day, it can take all of that away. But as a copywriter, you want to look at it as like the time that it's taken away from you, that you're winning to creating the content. And now you can go in there and actually really do what you're best at, right? Is to really improve in the copy and the content to be at the next level type of copy to help with conversions, whatever. So now you're not having to sit there and create the whole email from scratch or the landing page by doing all kinds of research before you can finally get the copy up there. So that's kind of really the way we really need to look at that.
Yeah, like it's just changing, say, copywriting to copy editing more so, and it's like having, or in some cases, depending on how you prompt it, obviously, kind of taking it from like out of the hands, say, quote unquote, of the main copywriter, and then giving it to, I guess, a way that people can look at it is an assistant that's just
Right.
writing the rough draft for you, and then you kind of come in
Yep.
for the polish. So it just like you said, saving time, saving resources, and just allowing the writer in this case to focus on what they do best, and that's obviously optimizing that content. Um,
Yep.
so I mean, kind of with that though, there's a lot of things that can be said about like the consumer behavior and market trends, and kind of really kind of delving into how that's how AI is going to influence how we can connect with people from a marketing standpoint, how we can communicate our messages, and how we can leverage these tools to enhance our ability to perform. So I mean, like with what you're seeing more so on the digital marketing side, like kind of tell me a little bit about some of the tools that you're seeing and how businesses can leverage them.
So, I use like you mostly ChatGPT to really kind of put together everything. Jasper as well is really good. And actually, I usually take the stuff from ChatGPT, then run it through Jasper, because Jasper tends to clean it up really nice. Just because of the way they have their AI system set up, it's specifically for content creation. So, it's dialed in a little bit better when it comes to that. And then also you have several tools out there, content at scale. You got another one that I've been using, playing around with, is ZimRider, and these are for blogging, right? Creating articles for your website, and that's one of the biggest areas. I think one of the areas that I think has been really awesome is as far as time wise is, a lot of times we don't really feel like we have enough time to sit down and write a blog post for our website, right? Which really, at the end of the day, we really need to be blogging, because when you start blogging, you start generating, studies have shown already that businesses that blog, bring in double the revenue than businesses that don't even blog at all, and it's all about adding value to your audience. And so now with AI and tools like Content at Scale, tools like ZimRider, tools like WordAI, I mean, there's a lot of them out there right now, that even Jasper, that can create blog posts. There's no reason why we can't even at least start to where we're putting out one article a week or one article every other week, right? And it's good quality content, stuff that's going to help with generating more, bringing in more eyes to their business, which in turn increases your leads, and at the end of the day, that's all business owners are looking for, right? Quality leads.
Yep. And I mean, to that same point, right? Like in what I do in the content creation space and like video production and things like that, is one of the things that a lot of my clients from like an ongoing retainer standpoint that we struggle with sometimes is, what do we talk about, like keeping that content going, keeping the like video ideas going. And so it's like, one thing that I leverage AI for is that brainstorming process. So I
Yep.
say, hey, I'm say like a realtor in, like, say Jacksonville, right? And then it's like, all right, give me 100 topics that I can talk on that are going to cater to audience XYZ. And so then it spits out, say 100, or I mean, sometimes I'll even go up to 200, and I'll like for ideas. And then I take them to my clients and they'll be like, hey, here's here's a bunch of topics that we can talk on. And let's identify which that are, or which of these concepts of these topics are going to be most beneficial for you in with what they do and things like that. So
Right.
it's helped to expedite that process, along with like how you use it for blogs. I use it for script writing a lot.
Yep.
Obviously taking it and doing the polishes and whatnot, but at least kind of
Right.
getting that baseline rough draft in place,
Yep.
and being able to coach it on the tone of voice of whoever's speaking. And then at the end of the day, we just kind of go back, do a final polish, make sure all the information is accurate, and we're hitting all the points that we want to. But it saves so much time on the writing process.
Mm.
And for those people that I know that I've also coached up on ChatGPT, they're like, this has been transformational in the amount of time that this has saved. Um, like I did a workshop for a client of mine where they were looking to really kind of get trained up on how to use ChatGPT in like a workforce wide rollout for their company. And at the time, they were uh, kind of coming to capacity with the amount of, say, social media work that they were doing. And through leveraging some of these AI tools and the prompt engineering side that I taught them, they were able to save enough time to where they were at the point of looking for an outsource point, but they were able to then reel it back in and be like, okay, we just saved so much time. We can now take all this in house and open us up for even more accounts. So like it was just, one, really cool to see that, but two, just kind of is a testament for the power of these tools, as long as you know how to use them correctly.
Right. Yeah. Now, I wanted to hit on that real quick too, is that, that again, that's where most of the business owners that I've come across, whenever it comes to content creation, is like, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. I don't know what. And I'm like, well, and then now it's like, we don't have that excuse anymore. Because just like you said, you can go in there, tell ChatGPT, please create me 30 topics for a blog post for this industry. And it's going to give it to you. I mean, and so now it's just a matter of, okay, which one do I pick? Right.
Yep. And I mean, obviously, and two, the then at least on my end, it becomes like, oh, when do we go out and shoot? Because
Right. Exactly.
but that's when you say, hey, I got Descript, I got Synthesia. I mean, obviously,
Yep.
the technology is still being developed, so
Yep.
it's not perfect. But I
Right.
mean, in due course, I like it I see opportunities where it's going to be, hey, I'm going to render out an avatar for you, say Tony, through through Synthesia or something similar. ChatGPT or ZimRider writes the script, and then we use the text to speech kind of tools within. I think Descript has it where you can feed
Yeah.
it like 30 minutes of your voice, and then it can recreate your voice. So it's like you
Yep.
just get a ton of that, and then suddenly you've got like all this say video content
Right. Right.
without even having to go record. But obviously, then
Exactly. Right.
there's a whole
And
ethical
that's like,
concern that gets to at that point. But that's a different episode.
yeah, that's besides the point, right? But I mean, think about it though. That's crazy. If you got a tool like, like Descript that can actually, you take your voice, and after analyzing your voice, it creates audio that's resemblance to yours. The biggest, because you come across a lot of people, I know you do, where, oh, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be on. I mean, that right there just completely eliminates that issue. You train, again, it's all about training AI, right? Because that's really what we're doing now. We're training AI to be a clone of ourselves.
Yep.
And and it all goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. If only I had someone else like me. Right.
Right. I mean, yeah, the opportunity is just incredible when you look at the technology, but I think we also want to make sure that we're keeping tabs on the ethics of it too, right? Because it's like when you get to things like uh recreating people's avatars and voices and things like that, you can then make people say things that they never said
Right,
or
right. Very
virtually do
true.
things that they never did. And it's like we're seeing a few instances like that in the world today, and it's just like making sure that we keep an eye on that and be cognizant of it as obviously there's the pro of the technology, there's also the darker side of it, and
Yep.
I think just being aware of it and being conscious of those things can be very powerful to those that understand it, and whatnot. But kind of moving into or jumping off your point there, where you kind of mentioned the aspect of like the time savings and making a clone of yourself. Like there's so much that these AI tools can do as far as productivity goes, and looking at, just like we said before, like putting our processes, our SOPs into these AI systems and saying, hey, identify the bottlenecks. Like I think that just the opportunity there is incredible. And like I forget what I saw the other day, but it was uh got it. It was I was watching a YouTube video. I think it was from Andre Geek, and he was doing an analysis of the Fed reports preliminarily, or like prior to the SVB bank collapse. And he was able to pull up these sheets, put them into ChatGPT, I think it was, and he kind of ran the analysis. And it was like, and he asked it to basically identify the weak points that could signal a potential collapse or flaws in the system, areas of concern. And it ran through it, skimmed over the like the IRS forms that all those companies have to file and the banks have to file, and it said that the like one of the highest risk elements was, I forget what they called it exactly, but it was that thing that led to the SVB banking collapse.
Mm,
And it was like insane to watch that, because it's like things like that. You've got these banks, these financial institutions that pay billions of dollars to like risk analysts to identify these points that ChatGPT can now identify in seconds. So it's just like there's a lot there.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's and that's where, again, like, kind of talking into the to the financing side of it, you know, again, having access to all that data, you're able to create formulas for clients, CPAs, tax experts, accounting, your accountant for your business is going to be able to create better systems for your business to be a lot more efficient, financially wise, in ways to be able to grow that bottom line. So it's it's definitely, I think that is one area too that again, now let's talk about finances. Now when we talk about AI, how is it going to help? Now this is where the finance experts, bookkeepers, tax experts, CPAs, all those people are going to be able to really tap into the power of AI to just really highlight their expertise.
No, absolutely. And too, right, is it's thinking about all the time that tax professionals and financial professionals spend on like all of their tasks, because there's just so much involved in those processes, that it's like the amount of time savings that these tools can have for those businesses, I
Mhm.
think is just going to be like game changing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and one thing that I've been able to kind of play around with a lot lately, and this is, I mean, I know, um, is with the Excel spreadsheets, the formulas, that you can go into ChatGPT and have it create all kinds of calculators for you for financing, rent calculators, ROI calculators, all those things that you can actually turn around, and now you're able to create tools that you can actually create. Whereas before you had to go online, look for someone that actually sold that tool, or go watch some YouTube videos and learn how to do it yourself, and then it wasn't that right. So again, ChatGPT will help out a lot there. I was watching a video yesterday, and this guy was talking about rent calculators. He created a rent calculator from using the Excel spreadsheet and ChatGPT, and it literally just broke down the whole formula. You're able to put it into the spreadsheet, and he had a working tool that was great. I was like, so those are the key little things, the little nuggets that I think that they're gonna, it's the things like that once you start figuring out, putting everything together, before you know it, you're gonna have a nice, well thought out, built system for your company or clients, or whatever it is that you do, that's really going to optimize your output.
no, absolutely. And to that same point, right? Like, I mean, not so much in the spreadsheet side of things, but with what I do in kind of the video production, video editing, we use a program called Adobe After Effects, and any videographer out there is going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say expressions. And so, with ChatGPT and other AI tools, you can actually ask it to give you these like animation expressions, which is basically lines of code that you can integrate into different like effects and things like that, and different like say animations and things like that within After Effects, and it can automate that process to get a certain desired result. Like I was using it for something, I think it was last week actually at the time of this recording, and I was needing like a very specific opacity flicker to kind of make it look almost like a strobe, but in tune to something. And so I had ChatGPT kind of give me an expression that I could then copy into After Effects just verbatim, and then it worked how I needed it to. Like
Nice.
it was like, I mean, I could go back and manually do it, or
Sure.
I mean I never really took the time to learn how to actually code the expressions myself, and I can now just leverage AI to do it for me,
Right.
and just the baseline that it can do that. And obviously, I'm sure you've seen all like the HTML and other kind of coding that it can do within ChatGPT natively. It's like the sky's the limit.
Yep. Yep. And it's just like having your own video editing assistant right
Yep.
there, just basically just helping you out to get it done. And
Yep.
that's the whole idea behind having an assistant, right? Is to be able to have that extra help to be able to get things done. And again, that's where, AI is coming in to just give you those extra hands to be able to be a lot more productive. Because at the end of the day, we all want to have, at the end of the day, whenever we go home, we finish our day, we want to feel like we actually accomplished something, right? Where you just haven't been chasing our tail all day just because we're, as business owners, we're trying to just do a bunch of stuff and not get anything done, you know. I think that's really kind of like the power in AI. Um, Another area too that I think is going to be really good is with gathering data for all the things that we're doing when, with our business, data analytics, being able to kind of really delve into the information of what's happening within our business, and
Yep.
taking that information and adjust accordingly to the market. What is the market asking for? What are we, or, is what we're doing right now bringing in attention? If not, well, then let's chuck it to the side. Let's go over here. Let's stop putting our resources into something that's not working. And so with AI, we have the ability to really delve into our analytics, whether it's marketing, whether it's finances, anything that we do. There's always going to be data there, right? And so it's how to use that data. We can take that data and ask ChatGPT or AI, whatever it is that you're using, but to be able to kind of put this together in a format where you can understand and see, kind of give you an overview, a report as to what is it that I need to do, where am I at, where are my strengths, what have we done good, okay, we've done good, well, what do I need to do to expand on that, right? And so it's that right there is going to be a huge aspect in the business growth, to be able to take that information and remain competitive in our market.
No, definitely. And like, I think with just the aspect of, just like you said, looking at what are we doing right, but then also taking into consideration, all right, what are we doing wrong, or what can we be doing better? And what
Right.
are the, like, again, what are the bottlenecks in the system? And then having AI identify those points in a matter of minutes,
Yeah.
that bringing in a high ticket consultant may take a week, 2 weeks. I mean, usually high ticket consultants are pretty good at what they do, but there's that time aspect. And it's like, when you're running a business, it's, you got to move fast, otherwise someone else is going to overtake you.
Right.
And so there's the whole concept of, if you're not using AI, you're losing your competitive edge. And I think that if there's one thing that our viewers kind of take away from, say, this episode, is that there's so many ways that you can leverage AI that aren't going to be as, say, technologically advanced or difficult to do, at least at the start. And obviously,
Right.
it's prompt engineering is in your, it's a muscle. You exercise it and you get better with
That's
time. The
right.
longer you play the game, the better you get at the game. Um, and once you've kind of gotten all of your kind of baseline concepts and skills that you need to know how to prompt engineer and how to work with these tools, then obviously that job becomes a lot easier, and you can start to really
Yeah.
reap the rewards of what this technological revolution has to offer.
Right. Right. And to kind of touch on that point a little bit, that's why we're here, because it's just like exercising, right? If you start a workout program and you've never worked out, you don't know where to start. And so now you're kind of like trial and error doing this and there's, so that's kind of, that's our goal, is to be able, because we've already been in it for quite some time now. We've really kind of thrown ourselves into it. It's our goal to be here for you guys, to kind of eliminate a lot of that trial and error, and just basically start kind of using some of the things some of the successes that we've been able to put together in respects to using it for our own businesses and for our clients, that you're not, so that way that you can jump in and start using it efficiently right from the very get-go. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to really help you guys out with this, so that way it kind of takes away a little bit of the frustration of AI, and how am I going to use it for my business? I have no idea where to start. How do I start prompt engineering? What the world? What is that? That's, and it's really important that you guys understand that prompt engineering is a word that you will be hearing from this day forward, and it will actually be just an industry within itself.
No, absolutely. And for those of you out there that are kind of wondering, like, what is prompt engineering? How can I get started? Um, I mean, YouTube is a great resource, but like, one thing that I've found recently is there's prompts out there that you can find online and copy them and be like, hey, like, here's what this kind of prompt gets you, but then I'm going to tweak it, right? And then kind of making your prompts your own to use tools like ChatGPT, like Midjourney, like if you're in the graphics world, Leonardo, and things like that to get the output that you want. I would say that if you're not sure where to start, is go on ChatGPT and ask it a question. Any question. It can be like, what is acupuncture? But then take it a step further, because obviously, if you ask it a basic question like that, you're going to find that it's going to give you a basic answer.
Right.
But then maybe get a little more specific with the question. It's like, why or what are the health benefits of acupuncture for someone with X condition or Y age range or something like that? And then you can start to really kind of see how the technology works. And then after you do it a couple of times, you'll start to get a better idea of how it can apply to you and your
Right.
industry.
Right.
And kind of really start to, again, try it out for yourself, exercise
Yep.
the muscle, and
Yep.
improve your skills. And then you can ask ChatGPT to critique your prompts, and then you can become better just by having it critique you, and then you can get better at giving it what it needs to get you what you want.
Yep. Yep. For sure. And it's, and something else is that, because, we're talking about how, you break down the commands to like be explicit so that way you get exactly what you want. Don't let that overwhelm you. If anything, get started. Put in as generic as you want. If you feel like that's a way to start, just so that way you can see what comes back. Okay. And that's where the output is going to tell you whether or not it's specific to you or whatever. Now, a lot of times, whenever I was playing around in the beginning with it, there was a lot of broad stuff that could be used, as a broad, because if you're just talking to a broad audience, then yeah, it works. If you feel that you can use it just so you can get going. But
Yep.
it's just like Matthew said, it's like a muscle that you exercise regularly. You're going to want to improve, play around with the prompts, play around with the commands to where you get it's just as specific, just like, Matthew used the example of acupuncture. Get specific as to what it is that you're trying to talk about. And that is once you start doing that, your several things are going to happen. And, and we can kind of like phase this into, our, the next topic is our target audience, right? When you start getting into where you're specific about your commands, you're going to be able to, your customers, your audience, they're going to feel like you're actually talking directly to them. Once you figure out how to use AI to really break down your target audience, understand their pain points, understand what it is that they like, what it is, who they are, where do they go, what do they do in their life, what are the hobbies that they do, is because whenever you start kind of putting all that data together, you're going to be able to create this imaginary person of who your ideal customer is. And now you're going to be able to put together content that speaks specific to that one individual. And whenever people start seeing your social media post, it's going to resonate with them, whoever is your audience, because they're going to feel like you're talking directly to them. And that is whenever, because at the end of the day, when it comes to marketing, advertising, it's all about talking to you, to your audience. And that's what's going to push them over to want to look you up, find out who you're all about, what you're all about, look at what products and services you offer. They're going to be able to understand your mission statement, your vision statement. They're going to go into your about page, read about you. Oh yeah, I know. Yes, that's me. And that's where, AI, that's actually one of the biggest areas that I've been able to really hone in with my clients is really tap into that aspect of the messaging for the customers, and to be able to create something so unique that they're going to be able to stand apart from their competition. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to be able to differentiate yourself from your target audience, so that, or from your competition, so that way you stand apart and your customers are going to want to come to you because your message is loud and clear.
100%, 100%. Well, I think that this was a really, really awesome episode, and we obviously covered a lot of information. But if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. As always, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. All you guys know what to do. Be sure to follow the podcast. We drop episodes every week. So you're not going to want to miss any of the awesome stuff that we're going to be covering here in the upcoming weeks because this is a new and emerging market. It's a new and emerging technology, and the people that jump on it sooner rather than later are going to be the ones that can capitalize the most off of it. But thank you all so much for watching and joining us today. Tony, do you have any closing comments?
Nope, just gonna say it's gonna be a fun ride. So get on the ride with us because it's gonna be a fun one.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, everybody. See you next week. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you in the next one.